These two Terran brothers face again, both hailing from the land of Peru. They practice a lot together, and honestly, they face each other in these tournaments quite often. He missed a lot of the battles. He did miss a lot of them. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Beckett Industries ALE. I don't know how we came here, how we ended up here, but I love it. We almost never get to cast this map. It is the Peruvian Terran representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's red. It is NeO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Beckett Industries ALE, we have the Peruvian Terran. He is purple, representing Psystorm Gaming. It is Tavo. NeO versus Tavo. Destined to face against each other almost every other week. For those wondering, these two, they are good friends IRL. They practice a lot together. They rose the ranks together. They were on the same team for a long time. And then we tore them apart as we picked up one of them. We picked up El NeO. And Tavo remained on Exxon, now bought out by Psystorm Gaming. And we'll see how this turns out. Typically, these two, they go to the ace match against each other. But historically, Tavo has come out on top in the TvTs. He is a little bit more decisive. He's a little bit more aggressive as well, as he does typically go bio-tank. NeO, he's a more mech kind of player. We all know that. He does love his mech. So we'll see how this goes, especially on Beckett Industries, a pretty small map. I love you not talking in the chat. Baco is gonna easy clap anyway. True. I want to see a NeO versus Ryu finals. It could happen, it could. Ryu, honestly, we haven't casted Ryu yet because he has a pretty easy side of the bracket, to be honest. I think if you look at the bracket, exclamation bar B in the chat, Ryu has like a straight like ticket to the semis, where he will face either Parker and Mike or Ryan. So we'll cast him in the semis. Meanwhile, we have a couple of other updates. Shelby did 2-0 White Idra and Eggs 2-1 Yanji. Oh my. Meanwhile, we do have this proxy starport across the map. Tavo getting ready to, I imagine, there's a couple of options here. You can get a medevac to lift up these said Hellions. I mean, there's not that many Hellions, so it's probably not going to be it. We could see a tech lab on this, straight into a Banshee. We could see just a straight up Liberator come out. There's a lot of options here for Tavo. What's it going to be? Lib it is. Meanwhile, Reapers and Hellions show up and it looks like, oh, he does not delay the natural. He totally could have gone for that SCV, but he does back off. Meanwhile, everything is at home here for NeO. NeO is getting a Cyclone to defend against any kind of air harassment. This is a very solid opening, but the problem is, because it's a proxy, this Liberator will show up before the Cyclone is ready. And he has to be careful for the Cyclone not to be distracted by the ground army. Oh god, there's just a lot of Reapers here. Oh god, immediately the Marine does fall. Cyclone pops out, which is great. Again, NeO, he can hold this. But that Lib, it's coming, edging closer and closer. Huh, as it shows up. Oh god, oh god. Tavo being very aggressive here. The Cyclone does get a lock on the Liberator, but at the same time, he does kind of leave his natural base exposed. The wall is a wall, but SCVs are falling, Marines are falling as well. This will be cleaned up, but damage is being done. Okay, no second Lib. Oh god, the tech dirty. We have a tech lab on the way. Oh god, probably for a Banshee. We'll see. It could be. Oh god, it could be a Raven. Meanwhile, the Marines, everything pops. Everything's just popping off. He does target down the Cyclone, and the Cyclone falls. Honestly, that's important. That's huge. Thankfully, he's remaking that Cyclone. Oh, yo, look at this. NeO knows. I was about to say, that's important because noticing that the Cyclone was being focused down, it's like, hey, there's got to be a follow-up, right? There's a reason why Tavo wanted to kill that Cyclone. And NeO knows that. His Marines are repositioned. He has a Raven as well for the Banshee. NeO is ready for the Banshee, even has that Cyclone being remade. So this Banshee shouldn't deal too much damage unless NeO pulls this army away. At the same time, Reaper gets in. NeO does see that the third CC is basically done here for Tavo. And this is scary. NeO is on the back foot. Like, he's caught up in workers, which is great, and he has a decent production. Like, but Tavo, he has the faster third CC. To be fair, like, he's not gonna have very many medevacs, or oh my god, he's not gonna have very many medevacs as the Banshee gets picked off again, because this starport is out on the map. Like, he's not gonna have too much production out of said starport, so he's not gonna have medevacs, he's not gonna have Vikings, he shouldn't have air control. These are all things that he shouldn't have, but what he will have is a better economy. So we'll see. I worry for him a little bit. Oh, Banshee does pop out. Starport is in the air, slowly floating towards the main. And I say slowly floating, but I mean, the Vikings could, I guess, focus it down. Meanwhile, the main army of Tavo is moving out. He's getting his third base up and running. NeO actually still... Okay, there we go. The third base is now on the way. It's so late in comparison, though. But it could be worth it, especially with this Raven, as long as the Raven doesn't get picked off. This is the army. Go on, puppy, please. Oh, Raven gets thrown down. Sorry, auto turrets get thrown down. They tank a couple of shots. And in the end, the starport will fall. Ooh, that's pretty huge. And that's all that NeO wanted. He's like, yo, I'll take your starport and I'll leave, mate. I'm good. Now we do see him repositioning. Still has his Vikings and his Raven. Has enough energy for an auto turret. Yo, does he get in? Who sieges first? Okay, backs off. Ooh, we do have a siege up on the high grounds. Does take a shot. Oh my god, the Raven actually got focused down there. We do see a land on the Vikings though, and it looks like this tank will just barely fall. That was a pretty close trade. A little bit of missed micro there by NeO, as he did lose his Raven to those Marines. But yo, the landed Vikings take out the tank here on the high ground, on the low grounds, and he forces a lift off on the third. And this is huge. Again, NeO needed to do this because of how late his own third CC was. Oh my god! Oh my god! This is disgusting. The amount of Vikings, yo, is he gonna get the CC? No way. Oh my god, it's gonna be so close. Another volley, the CC goes down. Oh, Tavo, no. The Vikings even land. Ay, ay, ay. With the CC going down, suddenly NeO has a massive lead. We see a scan. Tavo, he sees the floating CC. He knows the position he's in. Liberator sieges up between the bases. What does Tavo do? Does he go across the map? He doesn't have a medevac. He doesn't have any Vikings. He's supply blocked. He can't do anything. The Vikings land. He's going for the base trade. GG. And NeO takes game one. Yo, doesn't matter if you have a faster CC. Doesn't matter if you have a proxy starport. Mate, you're up against NeO, mate. You're up against a cranky Duckling. Come on. Wow. GG. And you know what? With that, I am gonna put some pants on because it is cold. For those wondering, it's winter here in it's about to be winter here in Australia, and God, the mornings and the nights are freezing. It has not been easy, especially casting DreamHack in these trying times, just because of how cold it's been. I'm tempted even to just wrap myself up in this blanket. Huh. As we get into the next game. Okay. I have my blankets. I'm looking at the chat. NeO the god. Let's go. And we are loading into game number 2 of this best of 3 series, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Peruvian Terran. He is red, representing the CranKy Ducklings, already up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. It is NeO. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have his Terran brother, also hailing from the land of Peru. He's the Purple Terran, representing Storm Gaming. It is Tavo. Oh boy. Again, Tavo with the ultra aggression in game 1. He was very aggressive, by the way, with the amount of Reapers he was coming at NeO with the amount of Hellions, with the proxy Stargate, proxy Starport. And I was worried. I was very worried for NeO. NeO was taking a lot of damage. He was losing workers, he was losing Marines. But in the end, NeO, with that air control, with his tank positioning, was able to take the first game. Now, can he take the series? That is the question, as he is going for an SCV scout. Why am I? I'm sure Tavo, I'm sure both of them have actually practiced cheeses against each other in the past. Meanwhile, oh god. Shout out to Fernando in the chat for subscribing 8 months now. Thank you so much. Gracias, gracias. We definitely appreciate the support, Fernando. It's been a long time. It's been a long time now. Almost a year you've been watching. But yeah, we'll see how we go from here. As so far, the openers have been the same. We do see, again, NeO did want to make sure that there wasn't a proxy here. That's what I was going to get into. The fact that I'm sure these players have proxied against each other in the past. They've practiced proxies. I know, especially on Lightshade, it's very common to proxy here outside the main base. So yeah, just making sure everything is normal. Oh, and NeO gets the first shot off. So he does win the Reaper battle. For now, unless he follows him into the tall grass, but no, he does back off into the shrubbery, if you will. And NeO does get his CC down. Meanwhile, so is Tavo. Again, nothing too different here. So we do have a 1-1 opening in both players. Reapers dive in, but there's also a Hellion here for NeO. So again, NeO should be fine in these like small skirmishes and small engagements. We do see a slight difference here. I was a little bit curious as to Tavo's delay on his starport, and that is because he's getting a much faster Cyclone. Again, this feels like a pretty safe opening from Tavo. This time NeO risking it a little bit more, delaying his own Cyclone. Oh, can he get the ACV? Oh, it doesn't get it. Not quite. Loses a Reaper. And NeO is forced back. And with this Cyclone, we do see Tavo being pretty aggressive. I'm a little bit concerned, but the Cyclone for NeO will come out just in time for the defense, so NeO should be fine, and we should be able to safely get into the more mid-game area here. Oh. Cyclone is forced back. Yo, NeO, please, get him in there. Tavo trading very well. And NeO is the first player to go for said Raven. And again, once the Raven comes out, once a couple of tanks come out, we should see, or we may see NeO just move out across the map. I don't think he's gonna harass with said Raven. I mean, he could, right? You can like dive in and throw down auto turrets, but Ravens have so much more value in TvT. I don't think you want to be wasting energy like that. As both players are getting at their Ravens. We'll see how many they get. As we've seen in the past, NeO can be very Viking heavy. We've seen players go for like 2 Ravens or 3 Ravens. Some players skip out on them. Meanwhile, oh my god, an SCV goes down. And once again, Tavo opts to go for an earlier 3rd CC. Now, we saw this on Beckett Industries, and the map does come into play, right? Beckett Industries is pretty small, and because of that, counterattacks hit a lot faster, so his 3rd base was punished. On a map like Lightshade, you could argue the same thing, where Lightshade is also a little bit smaller of a map, but it is larger than Beckett, and it is a little bit easier to defend as well, so we'll see if NeO can snowball again and punish this 3rd base and get away with a much later 3rd CC. Or if he just, you know, catches up, lets him get it. All that good stuff. You heard the Knights say knee. Oh gosh. It's been a while since I've listened to the Holy Grail. Oh, Tavo, please. It's bad, man. Oh god. Here we go, Tavo, he's taking his 3rd base. He has 2 Ravens, man, he's got all his tanks. Like, he is set up pretty nicely here. And now we are finally getting into an actual TvT. We're getting into the mid game, and this is where we see the 2 different styles of these 2 players. Like, even though they practice a lot together, we see Bio Tank coming out from Tavo, and NeO, let's see, they'll scan and see the 3rd. NeO is going for a much slower style, as we see 2 extra factories being thrown down. NeO is going mech. So everyone strap yourselves in, get some coffee boiling, because we got a long one ahead of us. So NeO, his style of mech is very tank and very Viking centric, to a fault, I would say. Thankfully, okay, he's getting a reactor on this factory here. More often than not, he neglects like buffer for his army, and he just focuses on tanks and Vikings. And there's value to be had there. Like, it's a very strong army, but again, like, it is vulnerable to bio just steaming on top of the tanks. It's crazy. So he does have to be very careful. Meanwhile, he doesn't see the army. Tavo scans, he moves in. Oh, NeO is a little bit late to respond, and he's forced to lift up his CC. Oh. NeO shouldn't lose the CC like Tavo lost his earlier. Meanwhile, again, Tavo is able to siege up, but NeO, he's actually trying to reposition. We'll see what kind of angle he goes for. Both armies do scan each other. We'll see who sieges first. Tavo sieges first, but Matrix goes down. Oh my god, and so do all these auto turrets. Meanwhile, NeO opts not to siege up whatsoever. Can he break through the tank line? It looks like he may just be able to. 1 tank remaining. Oh my god, this fight was so close. Another auto turret gets thrown down, and in the end, it looks like no, Tavo will win the fight. And I thought that, yo, the Raven was gonna get taken out by the Vikings, but Tavo was able to escape there. It was a very quote-unquote even trade in a way. But what's important is one, NeO lost more tanks. He also lost more Ravens. Tavo came out a little bit better there, and he got his third. Yes. Was that an early GG? The worker count is the same, funnily enough, but NeO saw the third fully saturated. Ugh. And it's a mirror matchup. I do think that because NeO was playing mech, he probably could have like stuck that one out, but calls GG, goes into game 3. Oh, feels bad, man. I don't think NeO's necessarily upset at that game, but again, he took a lot of damage. So setting up. Setting up for the next game. I really like the way NeO engaged there, as in like he threw down all the disables on the tanks. He threw down auto turrets as well. Like the Raven usage was great. He just didn't have enough on the ground, unfortunately. And we'll see how things go here in game 3. What do you consider cold in Aussie? That's a good question. It doesn't snow here. Well, not really. There's like the one mountain we have with all the snow. What is it right now? I don't know, like 10 degrees Celsius. I mean, we use Celsius here. As Tavo did ask for a small break, but he's back. We're all back. We're diving in. Let's go. We're actually playing on the Brazilian server. Oh my, interesting. Here we go. The ace match. It all comes down to this. I still think NeO could have stuck out there in the last game, not gonna lie. You know, he landed his 3rd CC at the 4th location. He had equal worker counts. He was down in upgrades, and his tank count was reset, to be fair, but in the end, we made it all the way here, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Peruvian Terran. He's red, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is NeO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the other Peruvian Terran. He's purple on Sidestorm Gaming. It is Tavo. El Tavito, if you will. Now, we're in the ace match. Does anyone have it in them to cheese? If Special was here, he would be across the map already. he'd just be zooming across the map with his SCVs. Kelliser would as well. We've seen it time and time again. These guys here, though, they're still here. They're stuck at home. And again, we'll see how they differ here in their openings. We've seen 2 games in a row now, Tavo going for a more economic opening with like faster 3rd CC. We've seen NeO focus a little bit more on his main army. We've also seen NeO kind of like play with mech a little bit. unfortunately, he didn't get into his game last game. Like, he wants to get into a more later game. He wants to be maxed out. He wants to have his tanks and his Vikings and his Ravens. But he just wasn't allowed to get there. And I think that's probably a smart move by Tavo. I'm sure he doesn't want to allow NeO to get to that stage. And we'll see where we go from here. I see the Europeans in the chat. And I guess the Americans. Yeah, again, it doesn't snow here, so we don't get like... We never have to drastically change the kind of clothes we wear to adapt to the environments, right? I guess, you know, we didn't have like... I guess we kind of do. I guess we have like thicker jackets, but we don't have like snow gear. I don't know if that's ever a thing. It's not really a thing here in the Land of Oz. Unlike in other parts of the world. Right, here we go. So far, pretty standard from both players. This time, they're both opening up pretty identically. Last time we saw like Tavo or NeO go for different variants. Ooh, meanwhile, Tavo did get the first shots off with his own Vikings, sorry, with his own Reapers, and he does pick off the building SCV. Oh, a bit of a rough start there for NeO. I don't know how he wins this fight. As okay, the first shot goes off on the SCV. With that, NeO should be able to push this away. Oh god, but the target fire, oh my god. It's disgusting. Solid delay there from Tavo. And this is kind of scary. I just realized that NeO skipped his Cyclone. Okay, never mind. I'm blind. I thought I saw the Cyclone earlier, but oh god, Tavo does get the first lock on. Yo, we start to overwhelm NeO a little bit here. The tank does come out, but it looks like NeO will lose his own Cyclone. Ugh. Can NeO chase this down? Oh, yo, he could. Okay, so after that, things aren't too bad here. Obviously NeO did trade out worse there. The main factor there being his loss of SCVs. But it's not too bad that they were able to trade Cyclone for Cyclone. I thought it was going to be a lot worse for NeO if Tavo was going to be able to escape with his Reapers and Cyclones, but thankfully NeO was able to chase them down. NeO, though, he is still behind when it comes to the third base. This is getting a little bit similar to game number 1, where he was focusing more on his own production, and I mean, he does get in, and I believe he does scout. He does see the third CC. And what is his response? Does he throw down his own? He does throw down his own. He's going to be perpetually behind. And I'd be surprised if we see him move out anytime soon. He's working on his second Raven. You know, he's going to have a decent amount of tanks and Marines. And I guess you want to be active with them, question mark. But I kind of would prefer if he would take things a little bit slower here. You know, slowly expand, slowly move out with your tanks, siege up. As we see a beautiful fan of Marines. Moving out, taking the Zonagas. And Tavo's sitting back pretty, right? Just expand, just take your third, you know. I feel like it's on Tavo right now to like be aggressive, right? Like he's got 4 tanks, 2 Ravens, like why not, right? Move out across the map again, deny your opponent's third, just like the previous game. And that may be what he goes for. Meanwhile, we have mech from NeO. Of course, we have mech, of course. We'll see who moves out first. Also, another interesting distinction between the two players is that Tavo does take the triangular third base, which is a little bit more aggressive. Meanwhile, NeO takes the horizontal third base, which is a little bit more defensive. Makes sense. And he should get a heads up. The army is moving out, but thankfully, because NeO has the Zonaga, he sees the army, and he should be able to respond. This is one of the big differences between the previous game, where NeO had no idea the army was on the way. So now Tavo has to reposition. NeO is looking to retake the Zonaga. Retake it. At the same time, we have another Phantom Marines. They spot the tanks. NeO is repositioning. Oh, he does catch a glimpse of the army. Does he want to fight? God, we have a couple of Vikings joining in, but NeO takes the first shots. NeO leaves the tank sieged up there. Interesting. I don't know if I like it, to be honest. Okay, pulls it back. NeO getting some free damage, and more importantly, he is able to scout the reinforcements. He sees the army movement again, confirms it with a Marine. Take the goddamn Zonaga. God damn it. I'm worried for NeO though, you know, he's running out of Marines. And he's not replacing them. There we go, Tavo once again moves on forward. Does he want to really fight though? I don't think he does. The Sensor Tower's finally going to come up, and that will definitely help NeO out. Meanwhile, Tavo has his own. Thankfully, both players are pretty even in that worker count. So NeO has been able to catch up. He's getting his mech underway, double armory, double upgrades. Yo, Tavo's pushing in. He's pushing in pretty hard right now. Yo, he wants it. We'll see how good it goes. Meanwhile, we do have a Matrix on one of the Ravens of Tavo, but the Ravens of NeO are going down. God, there was a beautiful anti-armor missile there. But Tavo doesn't have enough Marines. He doesn't push in. He doesn't take advantage of it. And right now, NeO, he's just waiting out that Dorito dust. And these Vikings, like, again, NeO has a pretty massive air superiority or air advantage. He has to be careful, obviously, like, going over these Marines. But if he's able to snipe these Ravens, that'll change everything. I would love for him to be a little bit more active with these Vikings. Maybe, like, bait a stim here or there. Oh, yep, he dives in, takes out two Vikings, doesn't take out a Raven though. Almost. I love this, you know, leave a handful of tanks. Oh, meanwhile, Tavo does scan though. The Ravens, they went back home to be repaired. And Tavo should leave. Yeah, I like this a lot. Tavo, he backs off. He's taking a fourth base behind this. So is NeO. They both expanded. But Tavo, once again, is a little bit faster. To be fair, this makes a lot of sense, though, because Tavo is the bio player, so he does have a little bit more disposable income to spend on his economy. NeO, a little bit slower, but, you know, he's a turtle. He's a tortuga, if you will. So it takes a little bit longer for him to get around. Slow and steady, though, mate. Now, right now it's on Tavo. Tavo has a much more mobile army, so he has to try and find a weak point within the defenses of NeO, and he almost finds one. NeO does respond. He does siege up. Well, we do have a couple of medevacs here, so Tavo could be getting ready to, like, just dive into the main base if he needed to. There are a couple of missile stars, and yo, he finds a way in. NeO, he sieges up, but he's a little bit too late. Oh, we do have an anti-armor missile that does get thrown down. The planetary is taking a lot of damage. Oh, he's trying desperately to repair it. Looks like all the Marauders will go down. Only tanks remaining. And now NeO, land the Vikings. Land it, puppy. He lands. He takes down every single tank. NeO with a decisive battle there. You can see the huge difference in supply right now. Tavo dropping 50 plus supply. And now NeO, now is your opportunity. Now let's go. He has to be careful though, because again, we do have a couple of reinforcements and he doesn't have a lot of buffer for these tanks. These tanks are honestly very vulnerable unless he gets sieged up. NeO's not feeling it, which I worry for a little bit. Again, his army is quite slow, so if he goes for a counterattack and there's a drop, like, he won't really be able to respond to it. There are 3 tanks here, sure, but he also has to do something with his army. Like, NeO's maxed out with a mech army. Like, this is insane. He scans, and no tank sieged up. Tavo, he's not ready. Here we go. At the same time, we just see a drop across the map. Both tanks, the 3rd tank will fall. There's nothing here to defend. Where are the reinforcements? They're not responding. A lot of damage is being done. Meanwhile, across the map, it doesn't matter because NeO has sieged up. The 3rd base will go down. These libs could be repositioned. Definitely. There are no Vikings here for Tavo. NeO can take or can abuse this. At the same time, yeah, NeO is losing his 3rd base. He could lose a little bit more. He's actually sending tanks over to defend. Meanwhile, the Bioforce tries to collapse on the tanks, but there's just not enough fire. Every single stim is hurting him. There's no medevacs either. There's nothing to support Tavo's army. And NeO is slowly pushing in. I love the drop play, but honestly, it's a little bit too late. And there are just so many Vikings here. Here we go. The Liberators do re-siege. The Vikings, oh, they almost catch the drops. Drops are going across the map. What is it to defend? We have missile turrets, we have a planetary, we have a tank, we have 2 tanks. This should be enough to hold the 4th. But Tavo should go into the main, right? He's trying. And it looks like he will get into the main base. He dives on top of the tank. He's on top of the production. And this is great and all, but does this really equalize the damage he's being dealt? Like, this is too much. This is far too much here. The drop will eventually be cleaned up. The Vikings come back home. Again, it's not the best way to deal with drops, but it's NeO's way to deal with drops. So everything goes down. The 4th is forced to be lifted. Oh my god, the boys are being pulled. Tavo may have enough to break NeO, and he does just barely. Yo, all the Vikings get picked off as well. There was no response from NeO. He wasn't paying attention. And that was a very expensive army to lose for NeO. Like, NeO lost a lot of tanks, and he lost a lot of Vikings for free. Can Tavo bring himself back? Tavo does have 3-3. He has a massive upgrade advantage. He kept his 4th base alive, so he's able to re-land it. Lost his 3rd. So NeO does have the income advantage here. Tavo's gonna go now. After clearing up so much army supply, like, you gotta go. You're on a timer. Scan does catch a glimpse of the army. NeO should be responding to what he just saw. He's fanning out a little bit with these Hellions, and he will spot the army. This is still honestly pretty close. The reason why is that NeO, even though he has a massive army advantage, a lot of that is in Vikings. And as we saw, like, if the Vikings are caught like unawares, then they're just dead supply. Tavo, yo, he lifts up and he lands his main base. He is still in this. We see a scan, third's been retaken. Tavo is attempting to reposition. I don't think NeO's seen the army. Oh, okay, never mind. He's gonna sense the tower. He sees the army. We have a switch into BCs. Honestly, I love it. I feel like that's a really good way to like really refine your army for NeO. BCs would be beautiful right now. And Tavo had a small window earlier. Now that window is closing. It's getting smaller and smaller. I don't think he can do it, mate. Base trade, let's go. NeO is completely out of position. The army comes in. It looks like the planetary should go down. Would you have a repair? But there are just so many tanks here. Oh my god. And NeO's not responding. He's going for the base trade, which I think is a bit of a mistake. He probably could have gone for this. There's no Marines here. He could have just landed his Vikings on top of the army. And he's being slowed down. NeO, please. NeO. Oh god. There's only 2 tanks here. He will eventually break this, but he's taking a long time to do it. The Vikings are doing nothing. There's nothing in the air. Land the Vikings. GG gets called. And NeO takes the series 2-1. So many Vikings.